Hey y'all, what's up? This is Jesse Both, aka J-Bone, and we are here to do a rookie walkthrough for the new Vegas Sundown Tournament. And this tournament will cover Tour 4's course, the Milano, playable also on Tour 9 as well. And the Milano has always been a 4-hole course in the Golf Clash world, but now it's been expanded to a full 9-hole course. They will be using 3 of the old holes, and they have been revamped holes, and 6 brand new holes. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through all of the holes for the tournament and one by one talk about the different routes you can play and the ball and clubs that I recommend you bringing with you for your tournament. So one thing I do want to make sure to suggest is make sure, if you haven't done so yet, to check us out on Facebook. Go to your search bar and just type in Golf Clash the 19th hole, and that'll bring you to our community page. From there you'll have to fill out a little application with some fun questions. We'll get that accepted, and then you can become part of our community. We have a large growing community of Golf Clash members that are ready to help you with any kind of questions that you may have, especially if you are one of the growing members looking for information on how to play the game better. Speaking of playing the game better, hopefully through this video you will learn how to play these holes better, and from that you will improve your chances of finishing better in the tournament coming up. The tournament starts this Monday, qualifying Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You will have 3 different chances to qualify. Yes, you do have to pay entry fee each time you try to qualify. You can use those qualifying rounds to practice the holes as well. So like on day 1, if you want to practice the holes and then you want to qualify on day 2, you can do that, but you will have to pay that extra entry fee. So if you do find yourself limited on gold in game, then you may want to just try to qualify the first time. The way it works is if you qualify Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, you get to move on to the opening round, which takes place on Thursday and Friday. If you finish in the top, I think it's top 50 in the opening round, then you do move on to the weekend round, and that is where you have a chance to compete for the top 10 prizes. They have 10 banners, all different banners, so as long as you make the top 10, you do get a specific banner to your place and the loot to follow. So hopefully y'all can do that. And if you do like this video, at the end, make sure to hit that subscribe button to my YouTube page. From there, if you hit the bell, you can be notified when I do release new videos or have live events. I do tend to go live for rookie and pro rounds during the week of the tournament. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on, and we're going to start at hole number 1. And hole number 1 is one of the old holes. They have made a few changes to it since the last tournament, which it was used in, the Cinco de Mayo tournament. These trees right here are in play now, so make sure to keep that in mind when you're setting your drive up. And also, let's see if we can zoom in here a little bit. I just want y'all to be aware of this area of the fairway. In the last tournament, it was kind of a bumpy spot with elevation change, and it was really tough to land your second shot on there, trying to go for that eagle shot. But now they've kind of flattened it out, it seems, so that eagle chance is definitely there. If you don't want to go to the right side, you can go to the left and have a good chance of getting the eagle. If you do want to go to the right side, I would suggest using your big topper. And from there you will be jumping off this island right here with your big topper with full top spin, and hopefully you're jumping to the other side of this sand trap, landing there, and then rolling up to the green or just off the green, maybe in the fringe or the rough just off the green. If you don't have a big topper and a power ball, and when I say power ball, you're going to need probably like a berserker or a snow globe. So if you do not have access to those balls, that is okay. There is another route for you to go. If you don't have access to those power balls, you can go this route here. You're going to jump it somewhere in here, and you want to hop it right over the edge of this fairway, land it there, and roll up into this zone right there. And you can do that with an extra mile, a quarterback, or even a low-level Thor. I would suggest that you bring a marlin ball or a navigator or a quasar for that shot, and this hole. If you aren't going to the right, if you're going to go left, there's no reason to use a really high level ball. Like I said, the marlin, the navigator, or the quasar will definitely get that done for you. And that second shot to the green will be either your hornet or your thorn, whichever one of those you do feel most comfortable with. But that second shot to the green is a much easier shot now. Much higher percentage chance to get the eagle on that shot now compared to the last tournament. So that is all I've got for hole number 1. And we're going to move on to hole number 2. Hole number 2 is one of the new holes, and it is a par 3. There are a couple ways you can play this hole. I would suggest either a marlin or navigator ball for this hole. And you probably are going to be bringing either your Saturn or your backbone for this shot. Some people could maybe use the Guardian. I would suggest you have to have a little bit higher level of a Guardian to make this shot, because you will need a good amount of backspin. But for the Saturn or backbone shot, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be landing your ball right up in here, and you're going to bounce it here for your second bounce, and then your third bounce is going to be right down here along the edge of that fringe rough area. And depending on how aggressive you decide to get, it will depend on if you can get the hole in one. I am going to suggest anywhere from 2 to 3 bars of topspin on that shot right there. And I would aim it to the left side of the hole when aiming and lining up your shot for that particular shot. Now, what you want to do is you want that third bump to be right there on the fringe of the green. Okay. If you hit the fringe of the rough, you may still make it onto the green, but your chances at the hole-in-one are probably not going to be there. Even if you do roll a little bit through the green to the back edge, you still should have a fairly easy chip for your birdie. Now, if you do want to use the Guardian and you do have an upper level Guardian, you can take your Guardian shot right there with full backspin, and I like 1 bar of right spin. And for that shot, I would aim just to the right of the hole. On the greens, there's little like squares. I would aim anywhere from 3/4 to 1 full square to the right of the hole with that shot. So that is hole number 2. And we're going to move on to our next hole, which is hole number 3. And this is one of the old holes that has a small change in it. I know these trees right here have been added to the course, and they are in play. So if you are someone that takes their drive fairly far up the fairway, those trees might be in your way for the second shot to the green. If you do play your ball short or really long up the fairway, then you should not be bothered by them. But if you do get in line with them, you might want to be prepared to use some curl to get around them. Other than that, I would suggest a navigator or a quasar. If you do want to go farther up the fairway, then maybe upgrading that ball to a Titan ball, just depending on what you want to do. Not knowing what the winds are going to be like, it's hard to completely tell you what shot you're going to best suited for you here. But on Monday we'll know the winds, and then we might be able to give you some more definite advice on what kind of shot to take. I last tournament took the quarterback shot, where I just landed it right here, and I rolled it up into this zone right here, and then from there I just took the long shot to the green using my Viper or your big dog in the rookie. You'll most likely want to take your big dog with you, but if you do get far enough up the fairway, you can use your Viper, and your Viper will give you a little bit better ball guide than the big dog, but you do miss out on some of that extra distance. Depending on what kind of wind we do have, this shot right here may be available here, and from there that might take you up far enough to put you within range of a long iron to the hole. We just really won't know about that shot until we see what the wind is on the qualifying round. So we'll just have to wait and see about that right there. So let's move on to our next hole here. And now we've got hole number 4. And I got another par 3. And this is once again one of the old holes that we have played on before in the Cinco de Mayo tournament. I'm going to stick with the same suggestions for this one that I did last time. Quasar, Navigator, and a backbone. I like to take the backbone right off the middle of that island. The reason I use the Quasar and the Navigator is for that extra power to be able to maneuver that backbone around without running into distance issues. And I like the backbone because of its accuracy. It gives you the ability to miss a perfect shot on that island and still be able to hit the island and get to the green and get your birdie. You can possibly do a rough bump up here with your sniper if you have a sniper high enough level. I like to have at least 3 bars of backspin for that shot. And make sure when you adjust for the wind, if you do have to adjust into the sand bunker, that can sometimes mess with your the bars. So just make sure you do have the correct distance fixed for that on that shot right there. I do recommend 2 backspin, 1 right spin for the backbone shot, and I like to aim my shot just to the left of the cup. So we are moving right along. Hole number 5. And this is a par 4. And yes, this is a new hole here. There are several ways you can play this shot. I would not suggest going to the left unless you can get your ball up in the upper part of this left fairway. In my opinion, that left shot in the rookie division is not really an option. You can go to the middle 2 different ways. You can try to bounce it from here over to this zone and land in there, and then you'll have a short chip to the green for an eagle opportunity. But some people are saying that they can reach all the way over the sand to this spot right here with an extra mile at 5 at least, and a special Titan ball. And from there you would bounce off this spot right here to the green or to the rough and roll around and onto the green. That left fairway area to the left of the green does slope up and towards the hole, so that pathway is available to the green if you so choose to try it. In my opinion, that's a little bit more of a risky shot, but it could end up having a good payout at the end, and you know, your ability to take that shot may depend on what kind of clubs you have or don't have. So the safest shot, in my opinion, that gives you a decent chance of the eagle is going to the right side. What you want to do is you want to take your drive over this way, land it on the mid to the right edge of that fairway with some top spin and some right spin, and bring it over into this zone right here. The reason why I make mention of the mid to right section of that fairway is because if you go to the left side of that fairway, you can, if you look real closely, you can see a little bit of a hump in the fairway, and if you do hit that hump wrong, it could shoot your ball out into the sand over there. So from this spot right here, you will have a thorn or hornet shot to the green. You can get a pretty straight line shot to the green right here, and very makeable. We had Throwdown Thursday the other night, and we had a lot of people getting eagles on this hole. So if you want to watch some Tour 4 being played, go check out the Throwdown Thursdays. We've got 20 matches of Tour 4 play, including shootouts. A lot of them would go to shootouts, so that's a lot of good information right there. And in my opinion, that's the best way to play this hole, but there definitely are other routes. You got the route here to this spot right here, or you can try to make the jump here and curl it around the green that way. In my opinion, though, the right side is the best side, and for this shot you will want to use probably at least a Quasar. If you want to use your quarterback, you might need to upgrade that to a Titan. I suggest using the extra mile. That makes that right side shot pretty easy, using the extra mile. So we're going to move on to our next hole. And we've got hole number 6. And hole number 6 is a par 5. Another hole with lots of different routes available. And sometimes the way you play is just going to depend on the type of wind you find that we have. And on the rookie, it's usually going to be a tailwind. Now, if it's a left to right or right to left tailwind, we don't know that yet. I think you will see a lot of people going to the left side here. I would suggest either Quasar or if you have the Titan or Katana ball, it might be to the best interest to use your Titan or a Katana ball on this hole. That second shot to the green is really where that extra power is really going to come into play and be helpful. So let's go ahead and start with this left shot. And this is with, I would say, the extra mile. You're going to take your shot right about here. This is going to be your point of first contact. And what you want to do is you want to end up in this zone right here. So what you're going to need to do is top spin and some right spin, a little bit of right curl, because you are going to have to kind of in the air bounce over this rough section and bounce right there and roll. If you use too much curl, you might accidentally hit that rough, and if you do hit that rough on the second bounce, you will be in trouble for your second shot. So really make sure that you do aim this one correctly. If you do have to aim a little bit farther over here to the left, and you do want to use a little bit extra curl to try to curl it that way instead of going over the edge of the rough, that might be a little bit better of an idea, and definitely a possibility as well. Some people, if they have the clubs, will go straight, depending on the headwind that the tailwind that we get. If you want to use a little bit better of a ball and you have a decent level driver, you may be able to bounce it here and roll onto this fairway here, and that will give you a very decent, probably long iron shot to the green. So make sure to take a long iron with some backspin if you do try to attempt that shot. My favorite shot is going to the right. You can use your quarterback, or you can even use your extra mile. If you use your quarterback, you're just going to have to use a good amount of curl to take it over here. You're definitely going to need a ball with some right side spin and some top spin for that shot. Katana, Titan ball, something like that. On one of my practice videos, I do use the extra mile and a Quasar ball, and I do use the hook slice, where I do land my extra mile here, and it takes off straight up the fairway, and it lands right up in that zone right there. And actually, in the video, I do aim my shot over here, so it's like a full hook slice. So it's pretty cool. If you have a chance, go to my YouTube channel, check out that shot. And I do explain it more in detail how to make that shot in the tournament. And I made it with a 5-mile-an-hour headwind. So if I can make it with a 5-mile-an-hour headwind, it should definitely be easy with a tailwind. So from those positions right there, your second shot to the green from this left side is going to be probably a big dog, or even if you have maybe a little bit higher level of a Viper, you can use that. Or even if you have a upper level Guardian. But for most of the rookies, you're probably going to be using your big dog. And you're going to be finding yourself with some sort of a rough bump. Be very careful in the amount of top spin or spin you add onto that shot at all. The green plays really sketchy. It will show you a good ball guide, but then when it hits there, it will shoot through the green. And a lot of that has to do with the accuracy of your shot. Hitting the perfect shot is really key on that second shot if you want to have a chance at that eagle. You don't want to land short of this green, because if you land short of this green in the rough, there is quite a high elevation change from the rough to the top of the green, and that will make that shot to the hole for your third shot really difficult. That ball will come out of that rough like a line drive right along the top of the green. So definitely keep that in mind when you're playing. If you're coming in from the right side, I do use the Viper on my shot, and it is a rough bump right here. And I do just barely miss my Albatross shot on this hole. So that is definitely an opportunity right there. I think your best chance at the Albatross comes from going from the right side. but that's my opinion. Some people may say that center way offers you a good chance using that long iron. So, alright, so now we're going to move on to our next hole, which is hole number 7. And this is one of the new par 3s. And this is a fun little hole right here. There are many different ways to play this one as well. You will be using probably your long iron, either your Backbone or Saturn. I do use the Saturn on my videos for this hole. And your setup is going to be max right spin and pretty much full backspin as well. I would suggest using a ball with some spin, so either your Quasar or a Katana. And keep in mind this is a downhill shot, so you do need to add that little bit extra wind adjustment when you do adjust for your wind. The different ways you can play this hole is you can play your shot to right here and try to spin it to the left of the hole and then into the hole like that. You would hit and the spin would take the ball to the hole. You can play your ball with a rough bump right there. You probably will need to use at least a Titan ball to give yourself a little bit extra power to get your shot there. And I would suggest using either the Backbone or the Saturn again. If we have a side wind on this hole, that would be really good for aiming and adjusting along that rough. If you have a tailwind, I would suggest probably the Backbone with the improved accuracy, and that will make that shot a little bit more tough and risky, but in my opinion that probably gives you the best chance of the hole-in-one. So just kind of measure that out when you decide how you want to play the hole. You can also play it from this right side as well, similar to the way you play it from the left side. So if we have a left to right tailwind, we're probably going to play from the left side. If we have a right to left tailwind, we're going to probably play from the right side. So keep that in mind when it comes time for the tournament. So we're going to move on to our next hole, hole number 8. And this is a par 4. And this is one of the new holes as well. 2 different ways you can play this hole. I would suggest using at least a Quasar ball or a Titan ball if you do have those, because you will probably need the extra power on this shot. My suggestion is probably an extra mile. Right here, you're going to bounce here, hop over, bounce here, right at the edge of that fairway and rough. You will bounce and roll up into this zone right here. If you have lower level driver, extra mile, you definitely will need to bring the Titan ball. It's still going to be a tough shot, even if you have like a level 6 extra mile. It's still going to be a tough shot, require complete topspin, and maybe even a little bit of overpower if you are using a lower level driver. From that spot right there though, that second shot is going to be a short iron, Thorn or Hornet. So that is the reward of taking that shot. If you do decide to go to the right side, you do want to try to get up in this zone right here. And from that spot right there, your second shot to the green will be a wood. So I would suggest taking a wood with some ball guide, maybe your sniper. And I think any level sniper will do. The green is fairly flat, so lining your shot up should be no problem. It's just adjusting for the wind, and hitting that perfect shot is going to be the toughest part on this hole. But going left gives you the best chance at the eagle. And that's my opinion. Let's see, anything else to say on this hole? Nope. That's pretty much it on hole number 8. And now we're going to move on to hole number 9. And this is the revamped par 5. Some people called it the par 6, but now it's very reachable to get the eagle. Well, possible to get the eagle, but very easy to get the birdie. So the way you're going to play it off the tee box is you are going to be hopping it right here. You will need to use probably a Quasar, possibly a Titan ball if you have a lower level driver. I would suggest your extra mile. And then for your wood, I would suggest your big dog, or if you have a little bit higher level of a Viper and you feel confident that you are going to be able to get fairly far on your drive, you can use your Viper as well. Your main goal on your drive is to bounce on the fairway and roll it up into this zone right here. If you do hit the rough, you can still make it to the green and get the birdie, but it might be a little bit more difficult to do it that way. If you are able to get up in this zone right here, you will be able to take your next shot, skip it here, and bounce it over into this zone right here, which will set you up for a third shot to the green with either your short iron or long iron, depending on the level of the clubs you have. I would suggest that a Saturn or backbone for long iron, and then your thorn for your short iron. If you are unable to get, if you are unable to get this far on your drive and you end up back in here, chances are you will not be able to make the hop, and you will need a layup in this zone right here. From there, you will have a third shot at the hole with your wood club, in which case you will need to hop it right there and over. And you will be making the same hop with your iron if you do end up in this zone as well. So no matter where you end up, you're still going to be making the hop over the sand trap most likely, unless you have some really high upper level clubs and are playing in one of the higher upper rookie division brackets. Then you might be able to go directly over that sand directly to the green. But for the most part, most of the rookies will need to make the hop. And I would suggest that when you do make the hop, there are two layers of, there's the fringe, and then there's a small fairway layer, and then the rough, and then the sand. I would try to hit that fairway layer on your bounce over the sand, and then from there pop your ball up onto the green towards the hole. I use like 1 bar of topspin, so anywhere from 0 to 1.5 bars of topspin. You might just kind of have to mess with those spins right there and figure out which one works best for you. But you do have the chance at the eagle with that shot. But you do run the risk, if you do get too aggressive with this hole and you run too far into the green, it is downward sloping in the back of the green, and if you do hit that slope, you will go off the back of the green and into the rough. So keep that in mind when you are taking those shots. This left fairway now over here, basically meaningless, doesn't mean anything now. So we're going to, real quickly, we'll go right back, recap this hole. Off the tee box with your driver, you're going to bounce it here, over, bounce it, roll, hopefully up into this zone. From here, you're going to take your wood and hopefully bounce it here, over the rough, and into this zone. And your third shot is going to be with your iron off this spot right here to that fairway slice sliver of ground. You want your ball to hit there, and then hop over onto the green and up to the hole from there. So definitely eagle chance. Definitely you want to make sure to get the birdie though on this hole. So that is all we got today, and that is the new Milano course. If you do have any questions for me, make sure to hit me up on Facebook. If you want to either talk to me at the community page, just search us Golf Clash the 19th Hole. If you want to find me on Facebook and chat through Messenger, you can search me at this name right here and request to be friends. If you do send me a request, you can kindly just drop a comment under this video so that I can be aware of who I'm looking for when I do accept your friendship. And let's see, anything else? I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I would like to thank Brad Racing for creating this new 19th hole logo for me. He is doing a bunch of different artwork for me for the 19th hole and for my YouTube channel, and I would definitely like to just say thank you to him, and I'm very grateful for the time that he is putting forward to help me improve the look of the community page and my YouTube channel. So I think that is all I've got for today. It seemed like this was a little bit shorter of a video than some of the other walkthroughs on other courses, but it's pretty cut and dry. Basically, all I can tell you to do is get out there, practice Tour 4 if you're playing in the rookie. And if you're playing in the pro or the expert, Tour 9 is what you have to play in. So in my opinion, there's probably going to be a lot of people playing pro practicing on Monday. If you want to qualify Monday, it's probably going to be an easy day to qualify because there's going to probably be a lot of people forfeiting games and giving you free eagles. So just keep that in mind. And until next time, happy golfing and God bless.